All right, you guys, we're going to be looking at polynomial functions, and really it's higher degree polynomials in terms of we looked at quadratics, which have an exponent of 2 in Math 1 and Math 2. We've been looking at cubic functions, which have an exponent of 3. Okay, and then now we're just going to look at polynomial functions. Basically means our exponents are 4 or more, but honestly, everything follows under the umbrella of a polynomial function. Okay, we're now just going to take this time to focus on what happens when the degree is 4 or higher. Okay, so let's talk about some vocabulary that we're going to need to work with in our first part of our assignment. All right, so the first thing is standard form. Okay, and standard form is when the exponents are in order from largest to smallest. Then you have your constant term. And remember, your constant term is just your number. There's no variable attached to it. Okay? All right. Then your leading term. Okay? Once you have it in standard form, none of these other things, these other three are all related to standard form. Okay? If you don't have it in standard form, you cannot identify the leading term, the leading coefficient, and the degree. Okay, it'll be the first term in standard form. The leading coefficient, okay, that will be the number in the leading term. Okay, and then your degree. Okay, that's the exponent in the leading term. So all of these link back to standard form. Okay, so that's going to be the most important part. Okay, is that you take that polynomial, you put it in standard form, and you can identify all these things. So when I'm looking here at my Delta Math assignment, okay, now I understand that you can look at it and you can eyeball it, okay, but let's look at it, okay, in terms of standard form, okay, and picking out these pieces of information. Okay, so we have f of x equals 8x minus 8x to the third minus x to the fourth plus 6. All right, so if I put it in standard form, that means negative x to the fourth minus 8x to the third plus 8x plus 6. Okay, so now this example is in standard form, okay, which means this right here, that is my leading term, okay. My leading coefficient would be negative 1. Okay, and my degree would be 4. Okay, now, okay, then I'm going to now address what the question asked for, okay, because I want you to see what happens when I put it in standard form, how this all came about. All right, so what is the leading coefficient? Well, the leading coefficient would simply be negative 1. Submit my answer. Yes. Okay. All right, you can see here, even says put it in standard form, powers are going down. Okay. All right, so let's look now at a problem that is the leading term. Okay. All right. So once I would put this in, okay, when I put this polynomial in standard form, okay, so that means f of x equals, standard form would be 10x to the third minus 6x squared minus 5x minus 8. Now, I understand for some of you, you're looking at it going, I don't need to practice this. Yes, you do, okay? Because we're going to get to something that's very important, okay? It's going to save you in factoring, but you've got to be able to put it in standard form, okay? And so if you don't have practice with this, it's going to make your life a little bit miserable coming up, okay? All right, so the leading term is the whole thing. So I have to type 10x to the third, okay? Because the whole item, okay, the 10 and the x third together is the whole term. So submit my answer. Yes. Again, put it in standard form, okay? All right, so the degree, okay? All right, so if I put this in standard form, so you can see I'm modeling it for you, even though I'm looking at it going, I don't need to write this down. All right, so negative x to the fourth, then it'll be minus 10x squared, then it'll be 9x, and then it'll be plus 8, okay? All right, the degree of the polynomial is the largest exponent in the problem, which is 4. Submit my answer, yes. Okay. All right. So now right here, before I switch over to y-intercept, okay, I can tell you really quickly the y-intercept of all of these polynomials because it's in standard form. Okay. The y-intercept, okay, is the constant. Okay. Anytime you are asked to find the y-intercept of a polynomial, it is the constant at the end of standard form. Okay. So let's look here. It says, what is the y-intercept of the polynomial f of x defined below? Write the y value only, okay? Why is it the y value only? So let's talk about that for a minute, okay? So f of x equals, okay, I'm going to put it in standard form. So negative x to the third is first, minus 9x squared plus 3x minus 6. Okay, so this right here, okay, that is my y-intercept. Okay, why is it? Okay, why do I know that it's this? Okay, so you got to remember something you were taught in Math 1. Okay, if you want to find the y-intercept, you let x be 0. So if I put in negative 0 to the third minus 9 times 0 squared plus 3 times 0 minus 6. Well, 0 minus 0 plus 0 minus 6. Well, that's all 0. Okay, so 0 minus 6 is negative 6. So this is actually a point. Okay, it is a point on the graph. Okay, this graph crosses the y-axis at the point 0, negative 6. If you don't believe me, check it in Desmos. Okay, type this in, okay, and it will cross the y-axis at negative 6. Okay, so that's why they're saying they want the y value only. They don't want the full point, they just want the actual y value. So negative 6. Submit my answer, and there we go. Okay, all right. So I'm going to come back in the next video to go over the next sections of your Delta Math assignment, okay? But this is your big part from here today, okay, is these vocabulary terms and identifying those features within an example, okay? Good luck.